I hate to admit it, but my father was right about you. From the very beginning, he saw something I refused to see. I remember the way he looked at me when I told him about you. The pause in his eyes, the warning in his voice. He didn't shout. He didn't argue. He only said one thing. Be careful. And I thought he was wrong. I thought he didn't understand. I thought love was stronger than his doubts. But now, looking back, I see it. I see everything he tried to protect me from. But wait, don't get me wrong. This isn't a story of blame. This isn't about proving him right and me wrong. This is about something deeper. Something you never saw coming, because what I discovered about you goes beyond what anyone could have imagined. And that's where this story truly begins. You see, when I first met you, you seemed perfect. You said all the right things. You gave me all the attention I had been craving. You made me feel like the only person in the world who mattered, and I believed it. I believed every smile, every word, every promise. I thought I had finally found someone who understood me, because this is where the truth slowly began to slip through the cracks. Little by little, I noticed things. The way you avoided certain questions. The way your stories didn't always match. The way your silence sometimes spoke louder than your words. And while I tried to ignore it, my father's voice kept echoing in my mind. Be careful. Still, I pushed it away. I told myself love means trust. Love means giving without doubting. Love means fighting for someone even when others don't see what you see. But now I ask myself, was that love or was it blindness? And here's the part you didn't expect. Because the truth that finally hit me wasn't just about you. It was about me too. About how badly I wanted to believe. About how far I was willing to go just to prove everyone else wrong. Even when deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Do you know what it feels like to fight against your own heart? To silence every instinct, every warning, every whisper inside you that says, this isn't safe. That's what I did. And now, standing here, I realize my father saw it long before I did. He didn't need to prove it. He simply knew. But the real question is, what was he right about? Was it your lies, your secrets, your hidden side you thought I'd never discover? Or was it something even darker? Something I still can't bring myself to say out loud. And that's what you don't understand. You thought I'd never figure it out. You thought my love would blind me forever. But you were wrong. So tell me, should I thank my father for saving me? Or should I blame myself for not listening sooner? The moment I realized my father was right about you, it felt like the ground shifted beneath me. Everything I believed, everything I fought for, suddenly shattered. And the worst part, it wasn't just one moment, it was a collection of moments. Little pieces of truth that came together like broken glass, cutting deeper with every memory. At first it was your words. They sounded so sweet, but looking back, they were carefully chosen, too perfect, too rehearsed. And I remember the times when silence followed questions you didn't want to answer. You thought I wouldn't notice, but I did. And my father's voice echoed in my mind, again and again. Be careful. Then came your actions. Small things, the way you'd disappear without a reason, the way you'd change the subject when something got too close. At first I told myself you just needed space. But deep inside, I knew space wasn't the problem. Distance wasn't the problem. The truth was the problem, and you couldn't hide it forever. Because this is where everything turned. The mask you wore started to slip. I caught glimpses of the real you. The one you tried to bury. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. My father was right. Not because he had proof, but because he had wisdom. He knew the way you entered my life wasn't as pure as it seemed. And yet, I didn't walk away. That's the hardest part to admit. Even when I knew, even when I felt it, I still stayed. Do you know why? Because I wanted so badly to be wrong. I wanted love to win. I wanted to prove that no one, not even my father, understood the bond I thought we had. But love without truth is a slow poison, and I drank every drop of it until I was drowning in confusion, until I was torn between two voices. Yours telling me everything was fine, and his reminding me to be careful. And now looking back, I wonder, why did I believe you over him? Why did I silence the one voice that wanted to protect me? And here's where it gets heavier. Because the truth about you wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't just a flaw. It was a pattern, a choice, a secret that ran deeper than I ever imagined. And when it finally came out, I knew there was no going back. I stood there, heartbroken, realizing I had defended you when I should have defended myself, realizing I had ignored warnings that could have saved me so much pain. And in that moment, I whispered to myself the words I never thought I said, say, he was right. But even now, the story doesn't end there, because the real question is, what do I do with that truth? Do I forgive you? Do I walk away? Do I carry the weight of my father's warning like a scar? Or do I turn it into strength? And that's why this story isn't finished. Because the hardest part isn't admitting my father was right. The hardest part is deciding what comes next. The night it all came crashing down, my mind felt like a battlefield. On one side, I had your promises, your laughter, your touch. All the things that made me believe you were mine. On the other side, there was the truth, sharp and undeniable, cutting through every lie. And in between, I was standing torn apart, asking myself the question I never wanted to face. How could you do this to me? You see, trust is fragile. It takes years to build, moments to break, and sometimes forever to repair. And with you, it shattered in a heartbeat. One detail exposed, one slip too many, and suddenly everything I believed about us wasn't real anymore. That's when I remembered my father's warning more clearly than ever. He told me, don't just look at what someone says. Look at what they hide. And I finally understood. You weren't just keeping small secrets. You were living in them. Every smile, every excuse, every promise, it was all built to distract me from the truth you didn't want me to see. Because what I found next wasn't just a small lie. It was the kind of truth that changes everything. It wasn't about where you went or who you talked to or why you were distant sometimes. No, it was about something much deeper, something that showed me who you really were, not who you pretended to be. I replayed every conversation in my head. Every time you told me, trust me. Every time you said, don't listen to anyone else, just me. And now I see it clearly. You weren't protecting us. You were protecting yourself. You didn't want me to see the cracks, the flaws, the parts of you that my father already saw from the start. But here's the hardest truth of all. Part of me still wanted to hold on. Part of me wanted to believe that even if my father was right, maybe you could still change. Maybe the person I loved could somehow be real if I just gave you enough time. And yet, the more I thought about it, the more I realized something powerful. If love is only real when it's hidden behind lies, then it isn't love at all. It's just an illusion. And illusions can't last forever. So here I was, staring at you, staring at myself, caught between the love I wanted and the truth I couldn't ignore. And deep inside, I knew the answer. My father was right, and admitting that hurt more than anything because it meant losing you, meant losing everything I thought we had. But still, the story doesn't end here, because even though I see the truth now, one question remains. Do I have the strength to walk away, or will I keep holding on to something that was never real to begin with? There's something no one tells you about realizing the truth. It doesn't come with relief, it comes with a storm. A storm inside your chest that drowns every memory, every promise, every hope you once held. That's what it felt like. When I admitted my father was right about you, not freedom, but devastation. I looked at you, and suddenly, every beautiful moment we shared felt corrupted. Every laugh we had, every late-night conversation, every gentle touch, it all felt like a trick, like a play written to keep me blind. And that realization broke me more than your lies ever could, because now I couldn't tell what was real and what was staged. And here's where it gets worse. My father didn't warn me to hurt me. He warned me because he saw through you. He saw what I refused to see, and maybe that means I was never blinded by love alone. Maybe I was blinded by pride, too stubborn to admit he could be right, too desperate to prove I was strong enough to make my own choice. But strength, real strength, doesn't come from ignoring the truth. It comes from facing it. And that's where the pain cuts the deepest. Because facing it means I have to face myself. I have to admit that I let you in. I gave you my trust. I gave you my heart, even when the warnings were there. And now, every time I think about you, I feel two battles inside me. One side whispers, hold on, maybe there's still a chance.